Hello. Several of you have asked for some additional examples of unit conversions. So I have three. They start from the simple steps, and then we're going to move through squares and then through rates. So our first example is how many gallons are in 12.5 liters. So our first step is to take this given information and write that down. And because we're going to use unit fractions, we'll turn this into a fraction by writing it over 1. Okay, now let's think a little bit before we go to our book. And we've got liters and gallons. Those are both volumes. And liters are in the metric system, gallons are in the American system. So if you look at the boxes, there's a section that says American metric conversions. That's where I'm going to start. So I'm looking through American metric, and under volume there's just one conversion, this one. 1.06 quarts is approximately 1 liter. So there's the liter that we need, but I don't have gallons. Now, gallons and quarts are both American measurements. At the top of the page are the American conversions. And again, I'm going to look at volume conversions and go through that list until I find something. 4 quarts equals 1 gallon. And that looks like all of the conversions that I'm going to need. So now I just need to arrange these conversions so that the units we start with cancel and the units we want are what we end up with. So we're going to make a fraction where the liters cancel. So I'm going to use 1 liter is approximately 1.06 quarts. And the liters are going to cancel. Now I have quarts. I want to get from quarts to gallons. I want the quarts to cancel, so I'll put quarts on the bottom. And there's 4 quarts in 1 gallon. The quarts will cancel. And if I look through those units, the only units that's left is gallons, which is what we want to get to. So that's good. We've got the answer in gallons. So the numbers are 12.5 times 1.06 times 1, but I get lazy because timesing by 1 doesn't change anything, over 1 times 1 times 4. There's the number part. When I go to my calculator, I have to remember to put grouping symbols around the top of that fraction. All right, so let's go do that calculation over here. Okay, there's my answer. So we have that this answer is 3 3.3125 gallons. But before I finish the problem, I need to go back and look at how many significant digits did we start out with. So we started out with 12.5 liters, and that has 3 significant digits. I'd like my answer to have 3 significant digits also. So I'll write my final answer as 3.31 gallons. And now I'm finished with that problem. Okay, let's clear this out. And we'll start a new problem. So in this one I want to convert .00. The zeros are there to give us precision in the number to the hundredths place, square meters, which is square inches. So again, we'll start off with this information, 1.00. And I'm going to write square meters as meters squared. Now on our conversion sheet on page 297, you will not find square meters, you just find meters. So we're going to actually rewrite this one more time. And for meters squared, we'll write meters times meters. I don't want to square the 1, just the meters were squared. And again, we're going to use unit fractions, so I'll put that over 1. Now I want to convert from meters to inches, square inches. Looking at meters, they're metric, inches are American. Those are both distances. So I'm going to look in the American to metric conversions under distance. I have several things that might work, but I noticed that there's one that goes right between inches, 39.37, is about equal to 1 meter. All right, so let's go ahead and use that one. We want the meters to cancel, so we'll put 1 meter in the denominator. And the meters will cancel. But just one of the meters cancels with this fraction, and we need to convert both of the meters, so I need to multiply by another fraction, and I still want the meters to cancel, not the inches, so make sure that you still put the 1 meter in the denominator. Because inches we want to stay in the problem. The meters will cancel. And if I look at the problem now, there's inches in this fraction, and there's inches in this fraction, which is very good because I have inches times inches. And another way to write that is inches squared, which is what our goal was, is to get to square inches. So the numbers in this problem are 1.00 times 39.37. Some students have asked if you need to memorize that. This is a conversion that I don't have memorized, and I don't expect you to either. So I do expect you to be using the page 297 conversions, and you will have access to those on your tests. If you use different conversions, then you won't be practicing with the conversions that you'll have access to for your exams. Now that's all over 1 times 1 times 1, so I'll just put that down there. So dividing by 1, I probably could have ignored altogether. All right, let's go over and put that expression in the calculator. And I'm only going to use the numerator since it's 0 or 1's in the denominator. Anytime you want to, you can make shortcuts with your calculations. Since it's 39.37 times 39.37, you can use squared to shorten your work. And we get this number. So now go back to our original measurement, which was 1.00, and it has 1, 2, 3 significant digits. So I want my answer to have 1, 2, 3 significant digits. This 9 is going to round that 4 up to a 5. So it'll be 1,550. We do have to put a 0 in there so this stays in the thousands place. Do not add a decimal at the end. If I wanted that number to be significant, then I would add it, but that would give me 4 significant digits, and this number has 3 significant digits. And there's my final answer. Whoops. There. There's no decimal point there. All right. Let's clear this out and go to our last example. Okay, so our last example is how many feet per second are in 80, and I am going to put a decimal point after the 0 so this number has 2 significant digits, kilometers per hour. So again, you're not going to find feet per second on the conversion table, so we have to deal with the feet and the seconds separately. And the word per here in math always means divided by. So we'll use the fraction bar to mean divided by when we're doing that. So we'll start off with the given information again, which is 80 kilometers per hour, and write that as 80 kilometers divided by or over hours. If you want, you can write a 1 down there, or you could leave that off. And now we want to make those conversions. So again, I'm going to go back to page 297 and look for something that will convert kilometers to feet. Well, I can get from kilometers to miles with this conversion. And then I can get from miles to feet with this conversion up in the American section, American to American units. All right, that's good, but I also have to get from hours to seconds. So at the bottom of the page on the left is the time conversions. There are 60 seconds in 1 minute. And there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. All right, now let's see if I can arrange my conversion fractions so that things cancel. So kilometers and kilometers need to cancel. kilometers have canceled. Haven't gotten to feet yet, so I need this one. Actually, this one. I need to get to feet. And I want the miles to cancel now, so I'll put the 1 mile in the denominator. And the 5,280 feet. Miles will cancel. And I really don't want to cancel any more of the feet out because feet is what my goal is. But I still have hours back here in the denominator. So here's a fraction that I can use with hours. Now be careful that the hours cancel. So this 1 hour wants to be in the numerator and the 60 minutes in the denominator so that the hours will cancel. They don't have to be right next to each other. They just have to be top, bottom to cancel. And one more, we want the minutes to cancel. So 60 minutes, the 1 minute will go here, and the 1 minute equals 60 seconds. And the minutes will cancel. So now I think, I'll go back and pick a different color, that the leftover units are feet in the numerator, everything else is canceled out, and seconds in the denominator. So when I'm all done, I have feet per second, which is my goal. So excellent, we've gotten to the answer we want. I'm going to organize the numbers. By the way, sometimes I show more steps than some students need to show. So if you're getting to the correct answers and showing less steps, that's perfectly fine. $80 times, I'm ignoring all the ones, okay. One last step. I like to put my grouping symbols on paper so that I don't forget when I get to my calculator. By the way, the calculator really doesn't do anything with the decimal point. I tend to put it in just because I've seen it on paper, and that's the only reason. When I count significant digits in the end, it becomes much more important. And I'm going to shortcut my 60 times 60 again by doing 60 squared. Okay, there's my answer. Before I write that whole thing down, I think I'm going to figure out how many significant digits I really need. So my original number had 2 significant digits because of that decimal. So I want this number to have 2 significant digits. So I'll round that off to 73 feet per second. Now you can answer it this way, or you can write it in the words. And either one is acceptable. So I hope those work for you in terms of making you feel a little more comfortable with unit conversions. If not, continue to ask questions and we'll keep working on this subject.